What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Today, I want to talk about the senators that voted against the Social Security Fairness Act. And the Social Security Fairness Act eliminated weapon GPO. So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video. And if you're watching this video and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, so let me first go and I'll show you guys. Now, you guys asked me for this, and this is the reason that I'm doing this video. I just wanted to focus on some of these senators that voted against the Social Security Fairness Act. Now, there might have been different reasons why these senators voted against the proposal. And the main reason that most of them were giving, they were saying, you know, we should eliminate weapon GPO, but this is not the right way to do it. They did a discharge petition in the House, and so they forced it through, and we couldn't go through committee. And so there were a lot of different reasons, or if you want to call them excuses, why these senators said, well, we can't support this, but we support law enforcement, we support firefighters, we support teachers and other local and state government workers, but they couldn't support it because of these different things. There's no pay for. You heard a lot of politicians saying that we don't have a pay for, but these same politicians that are saying we don't have a pay for when it comes to this, they vote for other bills where there's no pay for. And we ran a deficit this year of like over $1.7 trillion. And so they're not paying for things, but they're telling you, well, this is the reason why we can't support this because there's no pay fors. So anyway, let's go ahead. I want to show you the senators who voted against this. And then I also want to go a little bit deeper. I want to find out when these senators are up for re-election, okay? So this will give you a little bit more information. So if you were in favor of the Social Security Fairness Act, and you can look at some of these senators and say, okay, doesn't look like they're really supporting people receiving Social Security benefits, so maybe I should look deeper into their policies when it comes to Social Security. Okay, so first off, I want to take a look at the votes by party, okay? So you had 49 Democrats that voted for this, 27 Republicans, and this is just in the Senate, that voted for this, and then you had 20 Republicans that voted against this. Now, pretty much, and the vote count here was what, 60, 76? Okay, so you had all the Democrats that voted for this proposal, and then you had 20 Republicans that voted against the proposal. Okay, so now let's look at those 20 Republicans that voted against the proposal. So we have John Barrasso, we have Katie Britt, we have Ted Budd, we have Mike Crapo, we had Ted Cruz, and you saw Ted Cruz on the Senate floor talking about he has a proposal and he wanted to move forward with his proposal. You have Steve Daines, you have Joni Ernst, you have Chuck Grassley, you had Ron Johnson, Mike Lee. And if you remember Mike Lee, and this was back in 2010, so I know it was a little while ago, but he said that he wants to dismantle Social Security and Medicare. He wants to pull it up by the roots, is what he said. So he wants to get rid of Social Security. At least back then he did. Now, he came out and tried to act like he never said that, and it was, I think, the most comical demonstration of this was his facial expressions when you had President Biden, the State of the Union address, President Biden was talking about the fact that you have some Congress people that want to cut Social Security, and he looked like, what are you talking about? This is crazy. Why, you know? But he was one of when he was running for Senate, he was talking about getting rid of Social Security. Okay, Cynthia Lummis, we have Mitch McConnell. Interesting, Mitch McConnell. He voted against the Social Security Fairness Act. Rand Paul voted against it. Mitt Romney, another interesting. Mitt Romney is more of a moderate, but he voted against the Social Security Fairness Act. Now, like I said, some of these politicians, some of these senators had their reasons, and they said, well, there's no pay for, so we can't go forward with it, or I support another proposal, or we should do this. So they had different, most of them didn't just say, look, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with the Social Security Fairness Act. I don't agree that firefighters and teachers and law enforcement need to have this boost in their benefits. So most of them didn't say that. They had their reasons. Okay, so Mike Rounds, We have John Thune. Important about John Thune, he is the next leader of the Senate. Okay, so he is the leader. He's going to be the leader of the Senate in 2025, starting 2025. And so, what direction are we going to see Social Security move? Is he going to bring any proposal? Because if he was the leader, just think of it this way: if he was the leader right now, would he have brought this proposal to the floor? No. If he voted against it, even if he had his reasons for voting against it, let's just say there was no pay for it. That's why he didn't. That's why he voted against it. He would not have brought this to the floor if he were the sitting leader of the Senate right now. And so that should be really, really something you should be focused on. So what happens in the future when it comes to more reform for Social Security? Is he going to be in favor of it or not in favor of it? We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, Thom Tillis, we saw him on the Senate floor as well talking about he supports law enforcement, he supports firefighters, he supports teachers, but it was just there's no pay for. That was the main reason why he was opposed to this. Tommy Tuberville, we have Roger Wicker, and then we have Todd Young. All right, now I want to focus on when these politicians will either be running for re-election or some of them will just be retiring, so they won't be coming back. But and I don't know exactly, and some of them don't even know at this point. We can look at 2027. Are they going to run again? We don't. They might not even know at this point, or at least they're not expressing that. Okay, so first let's start with John Barrasso out of Wyoming, 2025. So he did win his re-election, so he will be returning. Katie Britt, her term ends in 2029. We have Ted Budd. His term ends in 2029. We have Mike Crapo. His term ends in 2027. The 2027s, these are the ones that we really need to focus on because that's that midterm election. And if they're up for re-election, depending on how things are, we don't know how things are going to be in 2027 or realistically 2026. But when we start finding out more information, these senators could be vulnerable. Ted Cruz, okay, so we know Ted Cruz, he just won re-election there, so 2025 was the end date, but he won re-election. Steve Daines, 2027. Joni Ernst, 2027. Chuck Grassley, 2029. Ron Johnson, 2029. Mike Lee, 2029. So he'll be there until 2029. And Mike Lee, I do have concern when it comes to Mike Lee as far as Social Security. What is he really going to try to push? Is he going to put any proposals out there that cut Social Security? So I'm really going to be watching him very closely. Cynthia Loomis, 2027. Mitch McConnell, 2027. Rand Paul, 2029. Mitt Romney, 2025. And Mitt Romney's not running for didn't run for re-election. Mike Rounds, 2027. John Thune, the new leader, 2029. Thom Tillis, 2027. Tommy Tuberville, 2027. Ron Wicker, 2025, and then Todd Young, 2029. And so Roger Wicker, he did win re-election, so he will be returning. So that is the breakdown when it comes to the senators that voted against the Social Security Fairness Act. So basically, they had their reasons, like I said, but ultimately, this would benefit about 3 million people receiving Social Security benefits, and these senators voted against it. And so I just wanted to bring this information to you guys. You guys asked me who voted against it. I want to know. And so that's the information that we have so far. And we have a few senators that in 2027, they might not be returning. And it might not just be because of this, but this is something that you should be really thinking about. There was another proposal or an amendment that was brought forward by Rand Paul. And this, not too many people knew about this, but he tried to sneak in a raising the full retirement age from 67 to 70. He said gradually raise the full retirement age from 67 to 70. This would pay for the Social Security Fairness Act. And so that's what he was trying to do there. That amendment failed miserably. You had 3 votes for it and 93 votes against it. And I believe the votes, I believe it was Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, and one other senator. I can't remember that senator. But nonetheless, that really didn't go over well. Now, the interesting part about that amendment and how it failed miserably is you had 93 senators saying, no, we don't want to raise the full retirement age in this situation. Okay, so let me say that. In this situation, when it comes to the Social Security Fairness Act, we don't want to raise the full retirement age to 70 to pay for it. But in another situation, like a reform, a total reform for Social Security, will they be more open to raising the full retirement age up? And it's probably the answer to that's probably yes. You're probably going to have more senators that are going to be on board if it's a reform for Social Security as a whole. So we'll have to see. That fight is probably going to happen. I think it's more likely now that we will see a fight in Congress when it comes to the reform of Social Security. We've heard too many politicians just over the last couple of weeks when they were talking about the Social Security Fairness Act. We've heard too many politicians talk about we need to reform Social Security, or we're looking at the trust funds being completely depleted in 9 years, and we shouldn't move this legislation forward, the Social Security Fairness Act, because of that. And so we're hearing more and more talk about reform for Social Security. And then I keep going to this because this is going to be something. This is one of President Trump's promises, that he wants to eliminate taxes on people who receive Social Security benefits. And that will help those people that receive Social Security benefits. However, it will expedite the depletion of the trust fund by 2 to 3 years. And so you're looking at the Social Security Fairness Act, and you had some politicians, and they were saying, I can't be for this because it expedites the trust fund depletion. But when it comes to the elimination of taxes on people receiving Social Security benefits, that expedites it even more. So a serious talk needs to happen if they are really wanting to move forward with Trump's plan to eliminate taxes on people receiving Social Security benefits. They need to have a serious discussion about how are we going to pay for this and reforming Social Security as a whole. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But the fact that President Trump made that promise, he's going to be held accountable, hopefully held accountable, if he doesn't move forward with the elimination of taxes for people receiving Social Security benefits. And to do that, Congress, because they're the ones that have to do this. This is not, presidents make promises, but the promises that they're making, most of the promises that they're making has to go through Congress, because Congress has the purse, they have the money. And so in a situation like this, it has to go through Congress. And so we'll have to see if they move forward with something like this. So I want to know what you guys think. So let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.